Caroline, how can a youth leader be very intentional on the interaction between the youth who are going on the trip, the adults going on the trip, and the wider congregation? What are ways that the church can support the youth before going, during the trip, and ways that the youth and participants can educate the rest of the church when they return? How does that relationship flow for you?
Yeah, it's a hugely important one, right? Our best youth groups, I think, are part of a church family where they are rooted in a congregation. And often we find ourselves siloed with just young people because we're meeting at different times. And for all the reasons that we know youth kind of are a wing of the youth group, we want to pull them back in. And I think a trip is a great way to do that. Share your location with a congregation. Get them excited about when you maybe reveal and decide where you're going. Have a bulletin board in the front and center of your fellowship hall that updates the church, not just the youth, but the church about what you're doing. We would do a commissioning service a few weeks before the mission trip where our youth would be in worship all together, where we would lay hands or we would commission them. We would, as a church body, say, we are supporting this effort and this mission, and you go with our love and our prayers, often our financial support to do this work, and we are going to be with you while you're there and when you come back. That was a really important setup for our kids to see our church and our church to see our kids. Invite your church into that fundraising role, right? How can they, likely the operating budget will be supporting this, but then are there other ways that they can financially step up? Help them get on the line a little bit and have some skin in the game. And then have your kids maybe write postcards or letters from the trip, updating the church or these individuals about where God is working in their lives and what they're doing. And then I love that we would then have our kids throw a youth Sunday where they would do the music that they would have sung on and loved on the trip, and they would reflect on their testimony about where they saw God at work and what they learned from the community they partnered with. Try to keep it close to the trip so that there's some energy around it. Those were almost always the favorite Sundays of the church because it's church being church. You get to see young people be leaders, and it changes the pace and the rhythm, and there's energy. Younger kids who aren't yet in high school youth group are looking up saying, I want to go on that. I want to be a part of that. That's what I want in on. Families are excited. Older people are excited about it. It is a really wonderful way to bring the community together. And if you've done all these pieces, then it's all of a piece and it makes sense. It feels like this is something we did. I would love when I would hear language from our church saying, well, we were in Chicago. Well, you didn't go to Chicago. You're, your kids in college or, whatever it was, but it felt like this is something we did. And when you hear that from people who were not on that trip, you know that you've done that work to make it feel like this is something our church does. Service and mission is something in our bones. Sometimes our adult youth group would follow the youth group a couple of weeks later on their mission trip and go to the same site, have the same partner community, sometimes be finishing up or working on the same projects. So they actually had a shared language of and shared experience around what they've done and seen, same partners. That was really cool too.
Yeah.
There might be ways to sync that up.
That's cool. Thanks.